Hello and welcome. Tonight, I'm going to mix things up a little bit. On the channel, we do a fair number of cocktail videos, but I wanted to just focus on mocktails this time around. Thought it would be nice for those of you who don't drink to have something like this, and for those who do, if you're looking to take a break or maybe need ideas for a party, here's some different non-alcoholic beverages that hopefully are tasty and hit the spot. I'm gonna do a mix, some like very classic, simple, non-alcoholic choices at a bar, some a little more exotic in terms of the flavor set, and we'll start a little bit in the middle. So let's do a cranberry maple mule. So the mule is one of those beverages that gets its own glass, typically vodka, lime, ginger beer, in one of these little copper mugs. So we'll get some ice in there, but our flavor palette is going to be maple syrup and cranberry juice with a little bit of lime. So we're going to be shaking this. So to begin with, let's do 1.5 ounces of cranberry juice. Gorgeous ruby red. There we are. Just a quick wipe up here. And to this, we're going to add 1/2 ounce of lime juice, freshly squeezed, beautifully fresh and aromatic. And then we also want 1/2 ounce of maple syrup. This is our maple element and a sweet element against the tartness of the other ingredients. Let's go for 1/2 ounce. Forming a maple meniscus. All right, into the drink. So now let's add some ice to this. We will shake it up. I will also add ice to our lovely little mule mug, and we will be good to go. Let's give this a good shake now. Got the ice in my mug. And let's strain. Such a beautiful color from that cranberry juice. And the way we finish this off is with some ginger beer. Added a tiny bit more ice there. And let's go ahead and top with ginger beer. Awesome. Now we could garnish with some lime, but given the flavors of the cranberry and maple, let's just tuck in a little cinnamon stick. Real holiday vibes here. And that is a cranberry maple mule. How about I just give it a little taste to make sure it's good? Well, that's delicious. Nice spicy bite from the ginger beer, and then you have cranberry and lime. It's all blended really well with the sweet from the maple. Delicious. Okay, now let's go with something very classic. When I got to go to adult functions as a child, I would have these, quite a number. The Roy Rogers. And it's very simple. It's really just Coca-Cola with grenadine. Grenadine just being a pomegranate syrup. A little bit of extra flavor hit. You get some pomegranate molasses and some orange blossom water. Give some extra notes in there. This is a simple drink we'll just build in the glass. I'm going to add some ice here. And this is generally made to taste. Recipes will tell you from 1/2 ounce to 1 ounce of grenadine. Basically, with sweet syrup, sweet cola. This can be a very sweet drink. I made some homemade grenadine, not too sweet. So I'm going to do something more like 3/4 of an ounce, maybe. Beautiful. Okay. And I will just pour that in. Then we're just going to top off with Coca-Cola, not sponsored. Just a touch more ice there. Crack this open. And we can just top this up. And just a wee stir to incorporate that grenadine. And this needs to be topped off with a cherry. And that is the Roy Rogers, a very classic non-alcoholic choice. Let's give it a sample. Cherry's trying to get me. It's very good, classic pairing. Definitely on the sweet side, but a delicious choice. Popular with the youngins, as we say. All right, the Roy Rogers. The Roy Rogers has a classic counterpart, the Shirley Temple, which is basically the same idea, but using ginger ale instead of the Coca-Cola, along with grenadine. Again, can be quite sweet. Some people say use like a lemon lime soda, like a Sprite, but but I feel like ginger ale is the classic choice here. So, like we just did, we're going to be going with 1 ounce of grenadine. Again, it'll be served over ice. Ounce of our grenadine. And you can use less as you desire, make it the way you want it. Pour that in. Beautiful. And again, super simple. Let's just grab some ginger ale. Get that lovely gradient there between the ginger ale and the grenadine. Again, just a quick stir. Don't want to lose all of our carbonation. And again, we'll garnish with cherry, but don't think 1 was enough. Let's go ahead, 2 of these beautiful cherries. And again, very simple, very classic. Again, pretty popular choice for kids, at least back in the day. The Shirley Temple. And a straw would be ideal here, but let's just give it a shot. Classics are classics for a reason. Just a great pairing of flavors. Refreshing, sweet, a very yummy drink. The Shirley Temple. Naming drinks for actors, I wonder what it would be like today. The Sydney Sweeney, the Jake Gyllenhaal, Chris Hemsworth, I don't know. We'll work on it. Alright, up next, I'm going to make a preserved lemon tonic. Seen this recipe floating around, and I think it originates with the New York Times. We're gonna build it in a glass here because we're gonna start with some muddling, but for that we need some lemon slices. Going to grab a lemon, slice off the end there. I'm just gonna cut 5 little slices of this. Cut them thin. Okay. Have a little look here for any seeds. Just a little bit of one there we cut through. And his counterpart here. Just pop those out of there. So now that we have our lemon wheels, these are going to go into our glass, along with a teaspoon of sugar, and then the kind of more unusual ingredient, 2 teaspoons of preserved lemon. I'm going to use some lemon paste that I made that's very similar. Gives both extra lemon and some saltiness. So let's grab the muddler and muddle these together. Gets the juice out of those lemons. We get the oils from the peel, blending with the sugar. Okay. Now we're going to add some ice to this. And to finish this off, I'm going to add some tonic water. I'm just going to top this off. And give it a little bit of a stir. Delicious. Very refreshing. It's nice because you have the lemon. There's that little bit of saltiness. And you also have the tonic. It kind of blends it all together and smooths it out a bit. This would be an amazing drink on a very hot day. Very, very tasty. Okay, next, this one I'm not really using a recipe for. Just wanted to do something pretty casual, the kind of thing, if just have some ingredients you can toss together if you're just looking for a little variation. I think I'm kind of like a flavored soda water is really all it is, but add a little bit of pomegranate juice. This was the basis for making that grenadine. Just some 100% pomegranate juice. Not sponsored. I'm gonna just toss that last little bit in there. And then I've got some lime. Just gonna squeeze some lime juice in, give some tartness. Grenadine is in a lot of tiki drinks with lime. They work well together. So we have a good squeeze of lime there, pomegranate juice. Again, very simple. Just going to taste here. Give ourselves some ice and then just top off. I'll leave a little room there. Just get this incorporated and we can give it a taste. It's nice, it's simple, just kind of adds a little bit of flavor. Didn't have a whole ton of lime in there. Could go a little more tart if you wanted to balance that a little bit. Could add a tiny bit of sugar or sugar syrup. But I guess the point is, you don't have to be super fancy with this. If you just want to make up something refreshing. And of course, if you want to help it feel a little fancier, give yourself that lime garnish. And there we just have like a very simple pomegranate lime cooler. Refreshing. Enjoy. Alright, and for our last drink, I'm gonna go a little wild. We're gonna make a blended drink. So we have our blender cup. And less blended drink in the sense of like icy, more just we're gonna blend up some different ingredients to make our kind of delicious slurry that we'll then serve over ice. And this one kind of has a real healthy feeling to it. It's got ginger, orange, lemon, little bit of apple cider vinegar, which is kind of a nice mix of ingredients for a mocktail, or just something delicious to have. Don't have to just be having a mocktail for something like this. So I've got this chunk of ginger. I'm just gonna peel it here. Just gonna kind of quickly slice off the peel with this knife. You can use the back of a spoon to just scrape it off. I'll just kind of trim it off here real quick. And then I'm just going to cut this into some slices just to help it blend. Alright, so there's my ginger. And then we also are going to put in a whole orange. Just quickly going to peel it. Just going to take off these outer bits. Could peel it by hand, of course. Just trim off that white pith. Let's just pull our segments apart. And these can go into the blender. So the orange is kind of our dominant ingredient. Do lemon juice. Do a teaspoon of honey, and I've made a honey syrup. This is just honey diluted with some hot water. It makes incorporating it into a drink easier. Since this is being blended, you don't really need it, but I had it for some other cocktails. Put in some honey. And our last ingredient is apple cider vinegar. A little tang to this, just half a teaspoon. Put that in there. Now we're just going to blend this. And this one actually is served pretty much like the preserved lemon tonic. Just pour it over ice here. Then I'm just going to top with a bit of soda water. gentle stir there. A very nice orange color. Let's give it a taste. It's nice, predominantly orange, but you do get the heat of the ginger, particularly on the finish. I used a pretty big orange, a little bit smaller. Might balance out those a little bit, but really tasty, and like I said, it just kind of feels a little bit healthy with these ingredients, but pretty good stuff. Enjoy. Well, I hope you've enjoyed making some mocktails with me. Just having this casual hangout session where we can make and try a variety of different non-alcoholic beverages. If that was something you were looking for, hopefully you will go out and try one or two of these, and hopefully you find something you like. Alright, have a good night.